Scoring 50 points in a single NBA game is something that every basketball player dreams of, but it's also something that very few players will ever achieve. Even some of the greatest players of all time have never managed to drop 50 plus or 50 points in their entire careers. We have seen recently players like Devin Booker drop 70, Klay Thompson score 60, and even 5'9" Isaiah Thomas score 52 points in a single playoff game. Damn. But there are several all-time NBA greats who were never able to achieve what these players have. But enough talking. Today we're going to look at the 5 all-time great NBA players in no particular order who were never able to score 50 points in a single game during their careers in the NBA. The first player we'll look at is Bill Russell. Now probably 99% of my viewers will have never actually seen Russell play, considering almost all of the games were either not televised, and if they were, they looked like this. However, he is still one of the greatest players of all time and an 11-time NBA champion, yet he's never scored over 37 points in a single game. Russell was known as one of the most dominant players of his era and even once grabbed 51 rebounds in one game. My God. We can all agree though, however, he can have a pass considering he has so many championship rings, he doesn't even have enough fingers to put them on. However, it is still interesting that he never managed to score higher than 37, but this was likely because he was constantly guarding Wilt Chamberlain, who actually once scored 100 points in a single game, so yeah. Russell's best season was probably in the 1961-1962 season, where he averaged 18 points and 24 rebounds per game. Bill Russell was an incredible all-time player, champion, and number 5 on our list. The second player we will look at is another dominant center who played for the Boston Celtics, and this is, you guessed it, Kevin Garnett. During his time in Minnesota, he never really had any sustained playoff success and was mostly known for being a statistical monster. In his best season, he averaged 24 points and 14 rebounds, but was bounced out of the first round in the playoffs. When you think of Kevin Garnett's storied NBA career, he ended up winning an NBA championship, an MVP, and even a Defensive Player of the Year award. Garnett came close to the landmark of scoring 50, but ended up just short with a career high of only 47 points. I don't necessarily think Kevin was the type of player to go out every night with the mentality to score 100. He was a defensive player more than an offensive player sometimes, and excelled at it. Garnett was named NBA All-Defensive First Team 9 times in his career. Think about that. For 9 years out of his career, the NBA agreed that he was the best defensive player at his position, which is quite the honor for the NBA big man. Third on the list, and most surprising to me, is actually Magic Johnson. Known mainly as the greatest point guard of all time, he never managed to climb the 50-point mountain in his entire NBA career. In the 1986-1987 season, Magic averaged 24 points and 12 assists per game. Being known as a pass-first point guard, it is not surprising to me that Magic prioritized getting others involved over scoring the ball, and his career high was 46 points in an overtime game against the Sacramento Kings. So again, similar to Kevin Garnett, he came just short. Unfortunately, as everybody knows, at the age of 31 years old, his career right in the middle of his prime was cut short as he tested positive for HIV, and back then the technology in medicine was not as advanced as it is today. He did come back for another season when he was 36, but was a shell of himself at that point. Again, it is surprising Magic never did score 50, but his pass-first nature and true point guard playstyle probably contributed more to that than him not having a scorer's mentality and killer instinct on the court. The fourth player requires a little bit of an explanation as he is still actively playing in the NBA. You may have guessed it, but the next player on our list is Kawhi Leonard. He is only 27 years old and still has a very long NBA career ahead of him. Although he is mostly known for being a defensive player in recent years, he's been relied on more heavily by his respective teams to become a scoring threat and carry that load as well. It is incredibly likely that he will eventually crack the 50-point threshold, but as of right now, his career high in points is 45 in a single game. This happened only last year against the Utah Jazz when he played his single season with the Toronto Raptors, where he averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. The reason I include Kawhi on this list, although he is still actively playing, is because when you look at players coming short of scoring 50, he ranks already at 27 years old in the upper echelon of those players, which is quite the compliment. Number 1 on our list, and the fifth and last player we're going to look at, also played for the Chicago Bulls during the 1990s. He won 6 NBA championships, he's a multiple-time All-Star and defensive first-team player, and his name is not Michael Jordan. Yes, Scottie Pippen, who played alongside Michael, was never able in his entire career to score 50 plus, which is probably pretty obvious considering who he was playing with. His best season was in 1996-97 when he averaged 20 points and 5 rebounds per game and played tremendous defense checking any player at all 5 positions on the court. Scottie was also guarding the best player on the other team and playing a Robin role to Michael Jordan's Batman, which it seemed that he excelled in. It is a commonly known fact that Jordan himself could not get out of the first round of the playoffs until Scottie Pippen showed up on the scene. His career high was not scored after Jordan retired, but rather alongside him against the Denver Nuggets when Scottie scored 47 points to Jordan's 24 in an embarrassing blowout loss for the home team. It's no knock against Scottie Pippen playing in the shadow of the greatest player of all time, but it's curious what he would have been able to accomplish outside of that superficial shadow everybody always talks about. So that's 5 NBA players who never managed to score 50 points in a single NBA game. I mean, no disrespect to any players mentioned in the video, and each of them are all-time NBA greats who have done a ton for the game of basketball. Which player on the list surprised you the most? Do you know any other players who have never managed to drop 50 points? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and if your favorite player was mentioned, I meant no animosity. Scoring 47 but not 50 points is no small achievement by any meaning whatsoever. But either way, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.